Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kit Holmes. It is Transformation Tuesday, January the 12th, 2021. I welcome you today to a place of peace. And I start off that way mostly because I need to remind myself that it is needed. It's a necessary practice throughout my day. And I offer this to you today for certainly what's been transpiring in the world, sometimes moment by moment. And what I know about the practice of a spiritual practice that I adhere to is where we place our thoughts, where we place our emotions behind those thoughts, is where the experiences we have in our lives are created. So, simple and to the point today. Peace. And how do we do that? How do we do that when we silly, crazy, unique, mixed up, loving, hurt, angry humans have all of these things happening inside of us, inside of our thoughts, inside of our feelings? Well, the first thing I know to do is breathe. And you've heard me say this a lot in these Transformation Tuesdays and in other places where I've been able to share what I hope is helpful to you. We can't do anything if we're not breathing, correct? I know this. We know that our fight, flight, freeze, play dead response is usually to stop breathing. Counterintuitive. It's in our limbic system and we do it naturally, but it really doesn't help, does it? We know that if we hold our breath too long, we're not here anymore. If we hold our breath in a stressful moment, our shoulders go up around our necks and our ears, and we cut off everything that keeps us alive, basically. So, we're just going to do that today. I would like you to bring something to mind, and I'll share with you, those of you who are in the Central Texas area watching this. We had, in the midst of an extraordinarily chaotic week in this country, we had the beauty of a snowfall for a long time, actually, for several hours this past Sunday. Those of you living in other parts of the country say, so what? We get it all the time. We don't care. It's snow, whatever that is. But I want to point out that for us, and me in particular, having grown up in a northern state where snow was a regular occurrence for about 6 or 7 months out of the year, it was a delightful diversion. It was actually a moment to stop and breathe and enjoy the beauty, to enjoy the peacefulness of it, to enjoy the fact that a lot of people were already at home, not many out on the roads. Those that were, that I encountered on my way home from our Sunday recording service at Unity of Wimberley, there were a few people who were unfamiliar with driving on an inch or so of snow on the roads, and saw a couple in the ditches, checked on them to make sure they were fine, and they were. A little upset, but I digress. We go back to the peace. We go back to the breathing in the beauty of this present moment. So I'm just going to invite you to a very simple practice that you can use throughout the day. Whenever everything seems like it's falling apart or falling together, even in moments of extraordinary joy and excitement where you feel like you're losing your breath because you're so excited or you're so joyful. We bring ourselves back to center, and it is a breath work practice. Simple, simple, simple. We take a moment, a conscious moment, to simply stop and take several deep breaths in through the nose, holding it for a moment, letting it out completely, and focusing completely on the breath. And why is that? Because when we put our focus on the breath, we are not focused on the problem or the appearance of a problem. We are not focused on our worry for the future, what might be coming, what we fear might be coming, what we are creating in fearfulness that might be coming in our own thoughts, in terrifying ourselves. We're really good at that. So I'm going to do this with you today. So let's do that and start gently by gently getting yourself uncrossed. If your arms are crossed, if your ankles are crossed, if any part of your body is crossed, uncross. Get your feet solidly on the floor. If you're standing, ground yourself in a nice, comfortable stance. Gently close your eyes and breathe in. Deep breath. Hold it for a moment or two and then let it out fully. And on your next in-breath, focus. Bring that focus and imagine that that breath is coursing through every cell of your body, picking up all of the toxins, picking up all of those things that might be stressing you out. And visualize just this giant breath of a vacuum cleaner and then blowing it all out. Do not concern yourself with blowing out negative things into the atmosphere. We simply know we are releasing thought back to their native nothingness, as we speak of often in this practice. And on your next breath in, focus on the divine, God, Jesus, whatever, the Buddha, whatever your practice is, whatever name you give to that higher power, to that something larger than you. That thing that we know or we believe created everything, that is present in everything. And the breathing out and the breathing in again and focusing and addressing that higher self, that higher purpose, that higher ideal, the divine sense, the divine intelligence, the infinite intelligence, whatever that is, and ask it. What needs to be, what wants to be expressed through me right now, in this moment, period. And allow that word to come, that phrase to come, that idea to come. And know that in this moment, right here, right now, all is well. That every conscious breath we take to connect with that power, with that infinite wisdom, with the divine intelligence that resides within each of us, and it does. We breathe into that place and we ask that question, what is mine to do right now, right this moment? And we listen. And the next step of this practice that I'm going to invite you to do is when you have felt yourself calming and centering and grounding, and you breathe in and you address, you welcome, you invite in the guidance. When you receive that word, that you just hold on to it and feel into it for a moment. Let it settle in every cell of your body. And then write it down. And then write it down. There's a couple of functions involved in that. Number one, of course, is getting centered, hearing your higher self, your greater wisdom, whatever it is you call it, to deal with the present moment, because that is all we really have, right? The second part of that, writing it down, it engages a different part of your brain so that you will remember it. And if it's on a little notepad, you can carry it with you throughout the day. And when you feel any incoming stress or strain or struggle or chaos or anything that looks like, there went my peace, you can open that little notepad, the thing, whatever you wrote down, whether it's on a digital device or not. Look at it, breathe into it, remind yourself. that in this moment you have breath, you have a heartbeat, you are alive on this planet, you have a purpose. And it is one of furthering the experience of peace, joy, calm, wisdom. I know that that exists within you. It exists within all of us. So right here, right now, and any time throughout your day, take a conscious moment to breathe, to remember, to ask, what does my highest self want to experience through me right here, right now? Sit with it, write it down, then take action on it. I love you dearly. Have a marvelous week. Take a moment to stop and see the beauty that is life in every moment. And I will see you next week. Blessings.